Hello everybody. Today I thought we'd take a little walking tour of Murphy Landing Resort. This was where Mom, Dad, and Brent and I started staying when back in the 80s. I guess it would be, I think 84 was the first year we came up. And we missed a few years in there, but it's been pretty much consistent every year. So that'd be, we're coming up on 32 years now. And as far as Wabana goes, Grandma and Grandpa and my great-grandparents stayed up here over the years, over on Zims on the other side of the lake there. So this big cabin right here, this used to be where John and Mary, the owners, lived. And now their daughter and her husband, Gary and Kathy, both live there now. John and Mary actually built a really nice house up on the hill behind the camp here. This is cabin 8, and I've been staying in this cabin since 1985, every summer. Well, not every summer, missed a few years there, but hasn't changed much. Got a new paint job, and I think they may be putting air conditioning in, at least that's the rumor. And you can see the lake is Murphy Bay. I'll walk down here on the dock. Oh, somebody coming back now. Well, there's Mary's boat on the lift right there, and that's Gary's boat. Huh. Yeah, I think there's a couple of new houses along here, because you used to have to kind of go through the woods here down to the next house. And back in the 80s, families, grandkids would be out staying on the lake with their grandparents, and they'd come down here, and I'll tell you what, middle of summer, this place is busy. You can see the big Wi-Fi tower on the game room over here. Not quite as primitive as it used to be. They have a selection of kayaks now. So, here's the game room, looking pretty much like it always has, with bookcases, the ping pong table, air hockey's new. out in this clearing over here, they used to set up a volleyball net. And I remember one year we had so many teenagers and kids out here playing that we actually had like 3 rows of 5 people across on each side. Here's the fish house where all the horror takes place. Yeah, the clinic has hook removal, and they can stitch you up if you slice your hand while filleting fish. And this fish house used to be about half this size until they built the new one. So it got kind of crowded in here. Some new cabins up on the hill. This one on the end was there back in the 80s, but all these other ones are new. There's 2 here that have 3 bedrooms. I stayed on this one on the end with Mom and Dad a couple times. This one you can't see behind the trees is the one I had the last 2 years. Cabin 8 that I showed you earlier down by the water is the one everybody wants. It's the hardest one to get. So John and Mary's house is way up the hill back in the trees there. There's nothing quite like that first time each year you come down this hill when you get into camp the first time. You see the lake and the cabins, and you kind of forget all your problems for at least a little while. I just noticed the pink flamingo. So lots of wild yarns are spun in this area over here, I'm sure. Well, that was the tour, and I'll just wrap it up by saying you should be able to see quite clearly in this shot here why I continue to come up here every year.